As I sit down to write this, I'm trying to give my trip to Europe a home. Looking through this footage, I wanted everything to be perfect. And I realized that's just not what this trip was. This trip wasn't about renting private yachts or skydiving. It was about the small moments, the very small pieces of time that we would often take for granted if we weren't in another country. The things we take for granted daily, and most of all, the people we met along the way. The most organic moments that no one would really understand unless they were there. The moments, if I explained to you, would sound terribly uncomfortable. There are a lot of moments that I would love to explain, and there are also a lot that I'm going to let rest the moment they happened. These are some of my favorite moments. It all started when I reached out to a friend. His name is Cade. Cade is a filmmaker in Austin, and when I told him I compulsively bought a ticket to Switzerland, well, he didn't take much convincing. Our red-eye flight was pretty smooth, and we decided it would be a great idea to not sleep for any of it. When we landed at 7 a.m., we were definitely a little tired.
It's also weird too because it's bright out, so it feels like you should be awake, but I don't know. Really, it's like 4 a.m. for us right now. But yeah, it's like 10 a.m. Yeah.
Is this us? No? 6?
We have
It has to be 19?
10 or 19.
10 or 19.
The only plan we had the entire trip was to stay 2 nights in Geneva, and when we got there, our hostel was kinda lame. So we decided to ditch that plan, get on a random train to a town called Interlaken that we briefly heard of from a friend.
So we're gonna take IC1, get off at Bern. At Bern, take EC towards Doomsdala. Then we're gonna get RE towards Interlaken.
And little did we know that the decision we made that day would be the best one our whole trip. We made our way to the hostel we booked for a couple nights and met Theo. He introduced us to the rest of the group, and from there, well, let me show you.
You gotta find the people that'll call your bluff.
The sunny weather starts tomorrow, but today we gotta deal with some rain, so we're gonna go to a close by town called Lauterbrunnen, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to come to Switzerland in the first place.
The ones that make you feel equal. They pick you up and don't put you down. Help you find your way in the lost and found.
After Lauterbrunnen, we just explored all of the towns around Interlaken with our group and saw some of the most beautiful landscapes I've ever seen. Unfortunately, the time had come to say goodbye to everyone in the hostel. Everyone was going to different locations, and it really sucked, but we at least got to write our names in this book that many more travelers will get to see that stay there. And this is honestly when I realized how special moments like this are. We're never going to be in the same place, having the same conversations ever again. I mean, all of these people live in completely different countries, and it just makes me realize how unique a situation like this really is. So if any of you are watching this that were on this trip with me, thank you for making it such an awesome time. And maybe I'll see you out there again one day. Now, this is the part of the trip that took an unexpected turn. Now, our friends had left the hostel and we were all alone, so we decided that this was the night that we were going to camp. So here's the short story of our failed camping adventure. We started the day by checking out of our hostel, and we thought we'd take a quick hike to Harderklum, which is right beside Interlaken. We thought it would be quick. So we took the rail car up to the top of the mountain where we would then hike across the spine to get to an amazing panoramic view. We kind of ignored that the trail sign all said hard, and we thought it was going to be mostly flat. It was not mostly flat.
We are on a hike a little harder than we thought it would be. Our giant heavy backpacks makes it a lot harder than just walking up here, especially when you're at this high of an elevation. It's insane.
After getting pretty far across the spine, we decided it was time to head back to get to our camping spot in time. And this is where things got interesting. You see, the plan was simple. We were going to take a train from Interlaken to a town called Spiez, and then from Spiez to an amazing campground with a lake. However, we had forgotten one thing. The gondola that was going to take us up to camp was closed. So we made the decision to just stop in Spiez in hoping to find a legal place to camp. We got off the train, immediately went out, and just looked. We thought if we found a tree line, there was a good opportunity to possibly camp there. So in the distance, we saw a hill and just started walking.
So we just got to, how do you pronounce it? Spiez? Spiez. And we have nowhere to stay. We have nowhere to camp, but we found a tree line, and hopefully that'll be good. We're gonna just try to put up a tent there and then go find food back in town.
Beaten and bruised while carrying 50 pounds of gear through the hike earlier and this long walk to the hill, we soon realized that this might not be the best place to camp. And with the sun setting and everything closing, we only had a certain amount of time to make a decision. Not wanting to give up, we just kept walking around the entire hill. Eventually, we came to a bench and just sat down and accepted defeat. Not knowing what to do and possibly having to sleep on the ground in a place we've never been, we found one last bus. We scrambled to make it to the bus stop, and I forgot to film it, but ultimately we decided to go back to Interlaken and check in at Bombers one more time. After everyone we knew had left, we introduced ourselves to new visitors and took them to the local bar, and I was once again reminded how special and unique this life really is. The next morning, we were off to find a new campsite.
The in-betweener is back on his bullshit again. I never knew I'd be afraid to be myself. Oh no, but I was terrified to learn that I'm just like the rest of my friends. I guess it's easier to sit here wasting time. Wind me up and hit rewind.
In the middle of our journey to find a spot, we had lunch and started to think that this wasn't going to happen. We heard about a friend that we met that went down to Lake Como. It was about 6 hours away, and we decided if we can't get camping to work out, we might as well go there. So we decided to coin flip it.
Heads or tails? What is it?
Lake Como's heads.
Hey Siri, flip a coin. Heads.
As we mentally prepared for the game time decision of going to a whole nother country, we met a local who had a wonderful tip for us. This was quite literally the last thing we were expecting, but he showed us a secret camping spot. And I could say a lot of words about it, but I'm just gonna show you. Oh yeah, and we didn't forget about that coin flip either.
There she goes, the queen of Saratoga. I'm just the eyes that saw her first. We set the scene like the makers of a moment, knowing that it's headed for the worst. Now I walk and avoid the conversations, prison of appliances and beer. Looking up to a crowd of anxious people, imagining the world if you were here. You were here.
Mud covered and smelling like campfire from the night before, we arrived in Como and made the short walk to check in at our hostel. After meeting an amazing group of people, we decided that the next day we were all going to go together and head up to a town called Colono. From Colono, we were going to take a path up to Leno and just see where the wind takes us. With only one more day left in Como, we all sat on the grass by the lake, and it gave me some moments of reflection. I don't really go out. I don't party. I mainly stay working towards things I care about, and I have a few select friends who I keep close. I feel behind in life sometimes, and sometimes I feel on top of the world. I don't know what life is or how I'm supposed to live it. I create these videos to show someone it's possible. It's possible for you to chase a dream and prove people wrong. It's possible to make one video that changes one person's perception. I used to care so much about subscribers and followers. I edited things for views and changed the way I would create. This video isn't for everyone. I don't create these to get views. I don't even make them for me. I make them for a moment in the future. There will be a day where my kids ask me about the life that I lived, and this will be my answer.
Wow.
Kids are gonna do what they want.
Yeah.
Kids are gonna do what they want.
You get the croissant cheers? Cheers, boys.
Now I want to.
Oh yeah, and on our way back from Italy, we stopped at Palmer's for one more night.